Hello from coronavirus hell. Coming up next on Deceptions of the Ages News. Hello everybody, welcome to Deceptions of the Ages News. I'm Matthew Hines and I'm running for governor of Washington State. And for the next few minutes, I would like to ask you for your time as I explain to you a little bit about the coronavirus, about what you see behind me, and about what's really going on here. Now, the first thing that I want you to see is I want you to take a look at my surroundings. And as you're looking, I'm going to explain. This is a park of the future. There are no trees, there is no shade, there is no cover. Why is that? Because they are going to fill all of these buildings with people that you can't allow shade because they might hide here, or the homeless people might come here. So what you have is this wide open concrete slab. Now remember the environmentalists? Well, how much of an environmental disaster are all of these buildings going to be, and not one tree, just flat, hot roofs blocking the sun? What you're looking at, my friends, is hell. This is hell in the making. But this is hell in the making that has been in the works for a long time. And the coronavirus is just one step of all of this. And you can say, oh, this is all a conspiracy theory. Well, I'll tell you another conspiracy theory. I've been saying since I came back from living in Saudi Arabia and Oman, I've been saying since 2013, we have got to stop immigration. What are you idiots doing? No country in the world allows this to happen, and you have no idea what kind of people you're letting into this country. Well, I have an idea, and now we're going to talk a little bit about what happened and why it happened. And I'm going to tell you two stories, and I hope you will bear with me. The first story I'm going to tell you is 2005, after Katrina. They are having a committee meeting. It's televised on C-SPAN, and Patty Murray is being told by basically the Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security, national security, that our biggest problem is not Al-Qaeda. Our biggest problem is our debt. We don't make anything. Everything that we're producing is over in China, and we can't continue to do that. And Patty Murray's answer, well, now, and I'm quoting, now is not the right time to do anything about that. Why is that? Because Patty Murray, who has overseen the deaths of thousands, maybe millions of people, along with her counterpart, Maria Cantwell, who's also overseen the deaths of thousands and probably millions of people, starvation, homes destroyed, they're still in Congress. How are they still in Congress after all this time? Well, their answer in 2005 was this, right? They're going to import millions of people every year, millions of people that we don't know. And if they can't afford to live here, then we will just make the American taxpayers pay for it. So what that does is when you have refugees, et cetera, they get to come here, and the American government is going to pay for that, and et cetera. Not the American government, but you are going to pay for that, because eventually somebody has to pay for the national debt. So once they got the American taxpayer on the hook, not only to pay for wars, but to pay for over 1 million immigrants every year to come to this country and to support them, well, then this allowed all these real estate moguls that supported Maria Cantwell, that supported Patty Murray, that supported this dipshit Inslee. They're all supported by the people that are building these. Now, who are building these? Well, the Chinese. Now, I live in this town, and I know for a fact that most of these buildings are owned by Chinese companies. So, what does that have to do with the coronavirus? If you can't figure that out, well, in a little bit, I'm going to show you in the next video. I'm going to actually take you through a tour of one of these buildings, and I'm going to show you how conducive they are to spreading the coronavirus. So, in 2005, Patty Murray tells the deputy national security guy that now is not the time to worry about the fact we don't make anything. And the plan was this: to just overrun our country with people that we don't even know. And then because we can't trust these people, we have to have basically no man's land in our parks, or these people can't hide and attack us, or the homeless people that can't afford these millennial coffins because they cost too much and they're only available to foreigners that are supported by the U.S. government. And well, that is what her plan was. And so now the sum total of all that is all the people that made all these mistakes and allowed all of this to happen are in charge, and now they have carte blanche to tell you how much they are doing about it. Now, do you remember 2001 and 9/11? How many people got killed over basically what turned out to be what was probably the Bushes wanting to make some money on the demolition of the World Trade Center? Well, now you've got the same people in charge of this, the coronavirus. And what are they doing? They're putting people into buildings like this where it's absolutely going to spread. And I encourage you to watch the next part of this. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the Chinese connection. Most of these buildings that you see, these are owned by the Chinese. Chinese companies made with Chinese money, but used Chinese slave labor, made all this money, worthless script, traded for dollars, however it goes. In 2016, I ran for the Senate, and I ran against Maria Cantwell because I said she cannot stay in that position. We have got to stop immigration. I had a lot of different ideas that I wanted to take care of, but number one is stop immigration completely. Zero tolerance, none, no immigration at all, and shut down these intelligence agencies, etc., etc. Basically to shut down this government that is moving into place, that's trying to spy on everything we do through things like Google and Facebook and worthless politicians. So, in 2016, I ran for the Senate. Now, I was invited to a Tiananmen Square memorial in Seattle, and I'll put the link to that in this right up here, I guess. Hopefully, it'll show up here. But I showed up at this Tiananmen Memorial where these Chinese people came and talked about, and some of them were like the guys that were, I think one of them might have been the guy standing in front of the tank. I don't know. But there was a couple of very famous activists, and it was great, and they let me speak. And so I got to meet all these people, and they were very wonderful. But the one thing I noticed there was that, we're supposed to have such good relations with the Chinese. Not one member of the Seattle City Council, not one Jay Inslee, not one Maria Cantwell, not one Patty Murray, not one representative even from their district. Not one person came to represent the Tiananmen Square or to memorialize the people who died at Tiananmen Square. Now, what does that tell you? That, more than anything, should tell you that these people that you've elected, they are all, and I mean, just look, I don't have the time and I don't have the money to go through and look at these people's finances. But I guarantee you, the reason they keep getting elected is because of Chinese money. And now they've caused all of this disaster. They've caused an economic disaster. And what are you doing about it? Are you calling for them to be impeached? Are you calling for them to be held accountable? No, you're saying, oh, tell me some more crap that I don't need to know, that you're doing something about this when you were the assholes that caused it. So, I'm sorry to use this kind of language running for governor of Washington State, but when people are dying and these people caused it, and it's all through greed, and I'm going to tell you one last story, and that is a couple of blocks from here, 2 days ago, I'm driving into one of the grocery stores. Now, they have moved there are like 60,000 people that have moved here in 2 years. 60,000 people. And I watched this Chinese guy, and I mean, it doesn't matter. He's Asian. I don't know what he is. But he's an old man. And, you know, old people are old people. They don't pay attention. And I watch him blow a bunch of crap into a very small tissue and then walk past me and walk into the grocery store. So that's what's going on here. Up the hill, you have Microsoft. Past Microsoft, you have the city of Bellevue, which is almost all Asians. And all of the basically Americans, they left here a long time ago. So this is what your future is. So, live from hell, this is Deceptions of the Ages News, and we will see you next time.